Hello, friends, and welcome to 10 Minutes with TmFal. Today is October 16, 2019, and we're going to talk about parenting. So, I am a mom of two amazing daughters who are now 20 and 21. And so, I've been a mom 2 decades now, and it's been great. It's had its extremely fun moments. It's had its anxiety-ridden moments. We have doubts sometimes as mothers. We have concerns. We worry about the kids. We have tons of highs. We have times where we feel inadequate, times when we feel unsupported. Sometimes we feel like, are we doing the right thing? I've been a divorced single mom for, over 14 years now, and there are times when you feel like, am I doing the best by them? Have I done all I can to make sure they have a great life and a wonderful relationship with their father? And so parenting, whether or not you're part of a couple, is the most, I think, the most important thing that we do. If we've been blessed and fortunate to have children, I consider motherhood a privilege, and it is something not to be taken lightly. So if you've listened to my other podcasts, I like to use imagery. I like to use circles. I like to use points like, the 7 habits and the traits. And so this time we're going to do just the word parenting. We're going to spell it out and talk about what parenting, I think, means to me, and also just some tips on parenting. So we'll spell out the word parenting, and I'll talk about each of those letters and what it means to me. So P is praying for them. This is praying for them daily, praying for them constantly, praying for wisdom, for direction for them, for guidance, for safety, praying for what it is we want for them, praying for who they are, and thanking God for them. So I am a believer, and I believe in the power of prayer, and I believe that we can pray and should pray for our children, because prayers of praying parents, there are lots of things that just having a parent or parents who pray for you, there are lots of things and good things that happen in your life. So P is for praying for the children. A is advocating for them and on their behalf. So until they learn to be advocates, and we can teach them, and that's the thing, we teach them to be advocates for things that are important to them, advocating for themselves, advocating for others. But our primary job as parents is to advocate for our children, advocate for their best interests, advocate on their behalf, be present enough to advocate at the school system, with other things around them, to make sure that we're advocating for them, and also teaching them how to advocate for themselves. Because what we don't want to do is be the helicopter parent who holds them through but doesn't teach them or equip them with ways to advocate for themselves. So in small steps, in big steps, we can teach them how to advocate for themselves, advocate for the things that are important to them, and also advocate for causes and for things and for other people, other causes that are important to them. R is respect, respecting them as individuals and teaching them to respect others. So this is really important, because culturally sometimes we think that respect is one way, where if you're younger, you respect your elders. That is important. But respect is bi-directional, and even children need to be respected. Regardless of how old they are individuals, and we should treat them with respect. Respect is important, and we teach them respect. We respect them, and we teach them how to respect others, and also to respect themselves. So respect is R. E is encouragement, encouraging them to be their best selves, encouraging them to be authentic individuals, to live in their best lives, to live in as themselves, completely whole, authentic lives. So encouraging them to be their best at all times, and encouraging them to live their true lives, and encouraging them. N is negotiating for them and on their behalf. And also, I say, teaching them to negotiate. So as parents, we're always negotiating with our kids. Do you want to wear this to school? Do you want to do this? Do you want to eat a cookie first before your homework? So negotiating, but negotiating on their behalf. So making sure that we're doing things for them, negotiating on their behalf, but also teaching them early how to negotiate for themselves. And this is especially important if you have young girls and young women. One of the things we don't do enough as women, adult women, is negotiate for ourselves. So we negotiate all the time, and we do it all the time with our children and stuff, but we don't negotiate for ourselves. And as young women, we need to teach our children how to negotiate for themselves. So know what it is they want, know what the alternatives are, and really being able to advocate for themselves and negotiate for themselves, but also doing it on their behalf when they're younger. T is teaching them the values that we want to sustain. This is where we are primarily their teachers. So they have teachers at school, they have teachers in different settings, but their home is where they get their knowledge. We can teach them and should teach them what our values are. What are the values that we want carried on to that next generation? We should teach them by modeling behaviors that are important. Children are watching all the time. So less of what we say, but what we do and how we do it. Teaching them what values are important to us. Teaching them through example how to be good people, how to be authentic, how to live their best lives by showing them and being good role models for them. I is inspiring them. So just like teaching and encourage them, this is inspiring them to be the best that they can be. And so inspiration comes from them watching us. And, whether or not we have huge, high-paying jobs, whether or not we work inside the home or outside the home, we can inspire our children by how we live our lives. So when they see that we don't give up, we pursue our goals, we set goals and we meet them, that we are good people, kind, we give back, that we set standards, that we try our best to grow every day, that is inspiring them. And we can inspire them by example to be the best people they can be. N is never giving up. So we've talked about all these wonderful things, advocating and negotiating, encouraging them. But as a parent, there are going to be times when kids go through rough patches, or you have a kid who has, doesn't necessarily like school, is having issues with substance use, other things are happening in their lives, or they just decide they want to quit school for a while, or they want whatever it is, whether or not it's planned or unplanned, it's not what we had in the cards for them. We can never give up on kids. We don't want to never compare them to their siblings, never compare them to other children, because that damages them sometimes, and never giving up on them. We are their parents, and that's our role. Sometimes they don't see things the way we see them. They don't have the foresight. They're short-term thinkers. We can think long-term. So we know that these things do get better. So never giving up on them, because as a parent, we are their last resort. So even when their friends and teachers and other people have given up, as a parent, our job is to never give up on our children. And the last G is gratitude. This is really important. When we live a life of gratitude and consider parenting a privilege that is not afforded to everyone, then we live in a life of gratitude. Gratitude is reflected in how we navigate life, how we move through life, how we treat people, how we treat our children, how we value the time we've been given. And when we live a life of gratitude, you raise well-adjusted children who are grateful. You raise kids who are not entitled or self-centered. You raise kids who want to give back because you model gratitude. And this has nothing to do with how much you have in the bank, how many houses or cars you have. This is a sense of gratitude for what you have and what you've been given, especially the privilege of being a parent. So again, parenting is a lot of things, but if you kind of go down the P, praying for them, A, advocating for them and on their behalf and teaching them to be advocates. R, respecting them as individuals and teaching them to respect others. E, encouraging them to live authentic lives, their best lives. N, negotiating for them on their behalf and teaching them to negotiate for themselves. T is teaching them the values and skills that you want passed on to the next generation. I is inspiring them through example. N is never giving up on them. And G is gratitude. So again, this is my take on parenting. Thank you for listening. It's been fun. 10 minutes with TmFal.